up, everybody? Giancarlo here. I am joined today by Jimmy Bacon, the Baconator from Hermit Style Podcast.
Oh,
Jimmy,
baby.
yeah, you just recently got top 16 at the Carta Magica regional with Baby.
Yes, sir.
So Mike convinced you to join the dark side, huh? Is that what happened?
Bro, I'm not a control player.
Yeah.
Yeah, it actually happened one night. So if anyone's watching who the podcast, Mike has played Blue Baby since the deck dropped. He
Mm-hmm.
loves this deck. It's one of his favorite decks ever.
For sure.
And I love Vegex. And Vegex cannot beat Blue Baby, bro. You don't
Nope.
understand how miserable it was testing.
Yeah.
Like, because we're like real dickheads. Like, we don't. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to curse.
You can. I curse all the time on this channel. I don't care.
Okay, cool. So, so we just like stay playing our favorite decks. So like he stays
Right.
playing like decks like Blue Baby, and then I just stay playing Vegex, and it's just so hard to win. And this was like before. This was before even I think DraftBox Demigro when we were testing it. But anyways, he was like, "Bro, just play the deck one time," and I was like, "Nah, I hate control decks." And he was like, "Just play the deck." So we switched. I've never been so relaxed in my life.
It's not. It's honestly. I don't want to sound like rude, but it's like really not that hard of a deck to play because
No.
the only thing that matters is like there's like 3 attacks in the entire game that matter, and like I've
you
played,
get to counter one of them.
exactly, yeah. It's like I've played Baby only at locals, never like a regional, but it's like negate. Oh, this attack goes through. Okay, I actually have to think about this one. Like it's a good deck to play, honestly.
Oh yeah, it's like there's definitely like we'll get into it as we talk about it. There's definitely like little like weird things you have to know and like do
Right.
that will like help you in certain matchups. But overall, like the spread of Baby is insane, and
Right. Yeah.
I guess a lot of decks it's just on easy mode. Like most
Right.
aggro decks, I don't know, like
Well, I feel
they're
like
just never going to attack you.
yeah, I feel like Baby's really good in best of one too because it's like your strategy literally never changes. It's like there's no matchup where you're just like, okay, well I actually have to play like the game differently. It's always just like I'm just gonna keep negating and then like I'll draw my win con on turn 6, 5, 6, 7.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, exactly. So let's get into the deck. I see a lot of little, I guess, best of one text, a lot of little one-ofs. Let's go through some of the one-ofs. The Ultra Instinct Sun Goku 4-drop. What is that good against?
Celzino.
Okay. And Victory
Like
Strike
that-
now that Battle Evolution's out too, right?
Yeah, I mean, I guess. Yeah. For this list, I wasn't even thinking about that since it wasn't legal for this tournament.
Yeah.
I mean, if they turn to you, like you can't even play it, and then you have to tap out for it. So I mean, I guess it's good to have the answer. Yeah, it's not terrible.
Very true. Okay. Kami is just good against King Piccolo, right? Good. I hate getting Kami. Like it shit happens all the time, and even when you try to play around it, like you just somehow end up with 4 battle cards on the field.
Yeah. I can't. I'm trying to think. It's funny. I actually had Kami against King Piccolo. I guess we'll get into it later, but I actually didn't use it.
Nice. Bro, there's a big thing that I see with this list, and this is something I've talked to Mike about, but I want you to explain it. There's 2 cards we see all the time in Baby. One is Mekekiorp, I think is his name, and the other one is it's like a 3-drop Baby that
The Baby Vegeta that does the same thing as the Goten.
Yeah. So instead of those 2 cards, I see a Bola and a Goten, and I've talked to Mike about this. You want to explain why you guys think these are better?
Yes. So drawing is always better than untapping in this deck. I already have so much for one, I already have a lot of untap. It's very rare that I'm in a situation where I'm like, wow, I really wish I had that one extra energy. When I'm playing a deck that can go to easily like turn 13, I'm like, bro, I have like 9 energy right now. Like untapping did not matter here. It does require you to sequence your plays a little better because obviously if you want to go 10 on 2, you're tapped out. Exactly, so like you have to understand what matchups you can and can't do that. So like sure, there's definitely some scenarios where you could argue that the Baby is better, but there's no matchup where it's required for you to win. So if it's not required for me to win the game, I would rather just overlord the next turn and draw my card and bring my hand back up.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of and there's also people that talk about Baby having like a small hand size I've heard before, and I'm like,
No,
how? But if
no.
you're just playing all these negates that neg you, I'm like, I mean, I
Mm-hmm.
guess,
Yeah,
but I'm not gonna play those cards. I'm trying to overlord every turn
yeah.
and just bring my hand back to what it already was, and then I'm gonna plus 2 or 3.
Right, exactly. We got the one Zeno that looks like a shout out to Mike. Mike put me on Zeno at the start of set 11, and I play it in so many different blue. I love this super combo, man. It's so
Oh,
good.
he's so cool, bro.
Yeah,
Yeah, we so I mean this is basically Mike's list.
yeah.
I don't want to take the credit. Mike put all the time into this.
Hmm.
I just stole his list and changed a couple cards, made a couple recommendations.
The best way to do it.
Yeah, man, like no, zero effort.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's been on Zeno. He used to run 4 Zeno actually.
Hmm.
He switched to 4 Vegeta super combo actually for a while, just because it was literally irrelevant,
Yeah.
and he like Dark Broly was more relevant, and just like being able to see more cards in your deck was just more important.
Hmm.
There's times when I literally have let. I think I did it once in the tournament. I just let an attack go through because I want to dig with the super combo. So
Yep.
like there's that. But yeah, Zeno is insane. It actually saved me one game because I went in going to play 4 Vegeta super combo,
Hmm.
and I was talking to Armando, and he was like, "You should probably just tech one," and I was like, "All right,
Yeah.
sure." I like
And
it better anyways. I was just like, it's more of a format call. You just have to kind of make the decision. Do you want the bigger hand size or do you want access to more energy?
right. That sounds good. I'm not saying okay. So instead of Fu Shrouded, we have Banisher Fu.
Yep.
Or yeah, Banisher Fu. That's his name. Did he come up often? Was there times you wanted the Fu Shrouded, or how did that work out for you?
Oh yeah, he's solid, bro.
Okay.
Like he's so good. Um, it's it's there's just like so many matchups he just claps like launch.
Hmm.
You just play him against launch and they're like, damn.
Oh yeah, yeah. Launched. I
You
know
play him
Dark Broly. It's good against Dark
Dark
Broly.
Broly,
Yeah.
yeah, same exact reaction. It's just like, damn,
Exactly.
I guess
Yeah.
I'll lose. Um,
Right.
so yeah, no, he's pretty insane. I would not take him out.
Okay.
Shroud of Fu is cool, but he's just not necessary, especially when you have turning the tide.
Hmm. Yeah.
There's formats where Shroud of Fu might come back. I usually side deck him,
That makes sense.
but for
Yeah.
best of one, I would just rather have the Banisher Fu.
Yeah, that makes sense. Double Abune. Is that's for like I guess blue matchups. It's good against other blue decks.
Yeah, it's also nice just to set up a turning the tide.
Mm.
So like
Oh yeah.
if you had a game where you didn't want to push them earlier,
Hmm.
you can just Obuni the turn before
Yeah.
you want to turn, and I mean, and you also don't have to turn the tide on 7. I regularly went past turn 12 in the tournament.
Mm.
I think
Damn.
one game I got to like turn 18 or something. It was insane.
Damn. That's crazy.
Um, yeah, we were both about to deck out actually, but um, that could be an exaggeration to be honest. I don't know,
Right.
but it
Right.
was
Right.
it was really late.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, you can Obuni, and then you just have a big board, and then you wipe their hand, and there's just like no way to win.
Yep. Okay. What is this card? Gohan and Piccolo. We've seen this in the sideboard a lot. I've seen people main it. 3 copies in the main board. How did that work for you?
Yeah, this is my one contribution that I will take for Baby.
Nice.
We were talking early in the format about what we were going to do for removal because
Hmm.
we felt like we needed more removal, and this was just like the best option to use. And Baby, being able to not only wipe 2 3 drops, but bottom deck them,
Yeah.
like
Oh yeah.
that's insane.
Yeah.
The biggest thing it hits though is the black decks that are playing True Fighting Spirit.
Yeah.
You just play it and that's it. It's also really good against launch right now, that the red green variant,
Hmm.
because you can bottom deck the Piccolo.
Right.
Um,
Right. Yeah.
there's
Yeah, because
honestly a lot of random things.
you're not attacking. You're not killing that Piccolo through attacking. You have to
Yeah,
kill it with the skill.
it's also cute to bottom deck people's pianos, and then
Hmm.
you just like starve their hand more,
Yeah.
like doing that, and then going into a Gohan, and then
Hmm.
if
Yeah.
they try and push through that, you're just like taking so much
Yeah.
incremental advantage away.
Yeah, absolutely. Piano is other than the Unison, Piano is the most important card in the King Piccolo. As the King Piccolo player, Unison's number one, Piano's number two, without a doubt.
Yeah, I
Yep.
agree.
Yep. And why do you play Baby Hatch? No, no, I'm just kidding. Okay.
Well, I was thinking about Goku.
Right, yeah. Okay, so I guess everything's pretty standard. One turning the tide. I mean, was there any ever a game where you're like, man, I wish I drew this card earlier that you would want to play to, or just as like a stall deck, you're like, I'll draw it eventually.
Yeah,
Right.
like like there were definitely games where I was like, man, I wish I could just win here. I guess we've got to go like 3 more turns because one thing about Baby is, and I think this is part of the skill in Baby that I'm not as good at that makes Mike a much better player with this deck,
Hmm.
is you can memorize your entire deck
Oh,
by
very
bottom
true.
decking.
Yeah.
So you can literally, when it gets to a certain point,
Hmm.
you exactly what you're going to draw every single turn.
Mm.
So what I do, because I'm not smart, I will just see when I have to bottom deck a Turning the Tide or like a food that I need. I
Yeah.
just count my deck, and then I'm like, okay, I know I need to draw this many cards,
Mm.
and then you just have to try and keep track of like how many cards you've drawn. But it's not too hard to get back through it because your super
You
combo
do
draws
three every
2.
turn. Yeah.
Yeah, you draw 3 cards every turn. Well,
Hmm.
you draw 3 because you draw for turn, attack with leader, and plus with unison, and
Yeah.
then sometimes 4 because you overlord,
Hmm.
and then you also, like you said, you top 3 from the leader effect. So you can burn through 7 cards every turn.
Okay.
So it's not too hard to get. Like once you get to where you've gone through your deck, it's very easy to get back to the cards you want.
Okay, nice. Yeah, no, that all makes a lot of sense. Yeah, so that's just like stuff that people who play the deck a long time know that I wouldn't think about because I've only ever played the deck like twice at a local. So that's pretty cool, man. Let's get into your matchups. I know we talked about it earlier. A lot of catastrophic blow that you had to deal
Bro,
with.
oh my god, getting blown, bro, all
Yeah,
day.
all day, just getting cat blow. Nice. All right. So what'd you play round one?
I played Invoker, so it
Beautiful.
was really funny. I was in our Discord talking.
Yeah.
Me and Armando actually talking for a while, and I was like, I'm just not gonna see Invoker tomorrow.
Mm,
I was like, I'm just not gonna see it. I'm like, who the hell is gonna go into this best of one webcam regional and play their Apex
yeah.
other than Sublet?
Right.
Like
Right. Yeah.
obviously like Sublet's a madman, but I'm like, who else? Like no,
Right.
Legends wasn't in the tournament. I was like, I think I'm fine. And then
Mm-hmm.
literally round 1, this guy puts down Invoker.
Mm.
And to make it worse, going into my round 1, I this is actually terrible. I spilled a full glass of water over a binder I have that has promos from 001 all the way up to current.
Oh no! Did they make
Yeah.
it?
Oh, it's bad. They like
Oh
I
my
ruined about
god!
400 cards, all
No,
promos.
bro. That's
Yeah,
oh
they
my
all have water damage.
oh
They're
my
most of them are
god.
playable. Like I
Yeah.
wouldn't get DQ'd if I sleeved it up, but I can't sell it anymore. So it really hurt the
Oh
value.
god damn.
So I did that at about 3 in the morning, and I literally spent 2.5 hours just in a frantic, just like rage, like ripping
Yeah.
cards out of the binder, throwing them on the carpet, like throwing towels. It was really
Uh.
bad. And then I had to be mad about it. So I didn't end up going to sleep till like 7 in the morning. So I slept for about 2 hours and then woke up and played. And
Yeah.
round 1 was rough.
Oh yeah. Damn, that's horrible, man. Well, it seems like it didn't really affect you all that much. Cause I guess you think it was just like baby that helped you out, or is it just like yeah, you just gotta like that? Fuck it.
I don't know, man. I guess I got lucky. I don't know.
All right. So how
I woke
did?
up a little after that, but yeah, the
Right.
round 1 against Invoker. So I went into this tournament never play testing against Invoker. Like I said, I
Mm-hmm.
actually don't play Baby that often.
Yeah.
I go off what Mike has told me and then my small experience with the deck.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a matchup I just didn't care about because I didn't think I'd see it. My strategy was to basically always have 2 counterplay trunks and as many hits and go tens as I could find.
Mm-hmm.
Because all I want to do is bounce the 3-drop. I really don't care about anything else. I just want to bounce the 3-drop. I did get lucky in that he didn't find Tournament of Power Arena early,
Mm-hmm.
so that can be very detrimental for the Invoker player. So I did get some luck there. And And then basically, I just kept bouncing his 3-drop. On turn 6, I bounced one. He was able to play another, and he went into the 6-drop, and he was only able to burn me for 3 damage. And I had put myself to 4 life because I'm bad at this game. And
Why you think you stay at a higher life total against Invoker?
yeah, we talked about it. You just stay at a higher life total, and then you clear the 3-drops, and then that way when they finally get one to stick, they hopefully can't OTK you, and you're literally just playing for turning the tide.
Okay.
But that's the
Makes
matchup
a
where
lot
you
of
want to
sense.
bring in another turning the tide, because as long as
Right.
you make it to turn 7 and you wipe Invoker's hand, it will become very, very difficult. But you have to get there. That's the
Right.
hard part.
But that
And
makes
there's a lot of
sense, right?
cards you
Because
need to
they
see.
can't do that till turn 5. So 2 go tens theoretically gets you to turn 7. So that makes a lot of sense, actually.
Hopefully,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
And obviously they have a lot of cards that can help them, in the counter. But anyways, the other tricky part is that you have to play around their skill that rips a card out of your hand. So that means if you if you have your unison on board, but you only have 1 god ceiling and 2 go tens, you're screwed, because they
Right.
can, if they have 2 of the rival seeker, they can just rip the trunks counterplay. And although you have 2 go tens, if you don't have the energy to play them, or there's just like a lot of things you have to think about.
Yeah.
And you want access to counters for not just 1 turn, but usually at least 2. If you have experience with the matchup, you will probably be playing rival seeker every turn from 3 on. So it can be quite difficult if they bait out your counter plays. So yeah, but anyways, in this matchup, what happened? Like I said, I went to 4. He on turn 3, I went to 4 life around turn 3 or 4. On turn 3, he played the Vegeta, Invoker Vegeta, and Awakened. On turn 4, I don't remember what he did. On turn 5, he played Rival Seeker. I bottom decked it or bounced it to hand, something like that. Used hit or go 10. On turn 6, I was able to bounce another one, but I could not bounce the second. That's when he burned me down to 1 damage, but he did not have the extra cat blow. So I was like, whew, thank God.
Nice.
Yeah, I was just sitting there, and I literally was like, do you have the, because he was like starting to do the combo.
Yeah.
And I was like, you don't have to show me, you know how to see, like, do you have the third capo? And he said, no. I said, oh my God.
Right.
Thank you.
Anytime I see energy amplification come down, I'm just ready to scoop my cards up. I'm just like, man, fuck this card. Fuck, start shuffling.
Yeah, exactly. So he passes, and then I had turning the tide, and then that was pretty much the game right there.
Nice.
I was able to just push through.
Okay.
So yeah, I did get a little bit of luck there, and then. But he was good. I think the only thing he did wrong was, if you're the Invoker player against Baby, you likely don't want to continue taking your life when you attack and when you get attacked. So each time he's activating his skill, he was taking a life, and that ultimately made my turning the tide play much stronger, because it made him much easier to kill. But on my turn 7, he was at 3 life. So there is no way he could win when I have a unison on board that gives my leader double with a 30k crit, and you have no hand.
Oh, there's no way. Yeah, I've never. Why would you? You don't. You're playing Invoker. You don't have to go below whatever life total you don't want to, especially specifically in this matchup. I can see.
I think the tricky part in this matchup is if you're not, what is it, 5 life to get the rippy hand effect.
Yeah, you just stop at 5. Yeah.
Right. So I think that's the tricky part, is like you do want to be at 5 because you want to take out that go 10 or whatever.
Absolutely, yeah.
But yeah. So a little bit of luck there, which I needed because I was exhausted. I felt very bad. I was playing poorly. I even apologized to the man because I felt very bad about how bad I was playing. At one point, I was starting to fall asleep. I felt really, really bad about it. It was no disrespect to him. He was playing fine. I was so out of it.
He's playing Invoker. That is the deck you're going to fall asleep against. I mean, honestly.
Yeah, because like I'm playing Baby. I know I'm not going to do anything. I know he's not going to do anything, but he's got to, look at his top 3. And I was out of it, man. All I could think about was the promo binder.
Yeah, man, that is horrible. That really sucks. But okay, so what'd you play round 2?
Bro. I play Sublet playing Invoker. I said, what the hell, man?
Yep.
There's no way I play Invoker all day.
What are the odds?
We ran the odds. It was Sublet so kindly ran the odds for
Oh,
me.
very nice guy, that guy.
It was like less than 1%, like far
That's
less than 1%.
that's honestly that's fucking hilarious, bro. This shit is so funny.
It's not.
Not for you, but I remember we were everyone check out Hermit Style, of course, podcast and Discord. I'm gonna have the
Yes. Had I known what I know now
yeah.
about some different little like fun tricks I can try against Invoker,
Mm-hmm.
I feel that I would have at least not assumed I lost from the beginning of the game.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's still very tough. Obviously, he's one of the best players in the country.
Mm-hmm.
But I do wish I knew what I knew now, so I could at least see how it pans out. So I will have to ask Sublet if he'll play with me some more and see how that goes.
Okay.
But yeah, basically what he did that was very different was he did not go under 5. Um, he on turn 3 played Rival Seeker
Mm-hmm.
instead of Vegeta, which was very smart because it forces me to now have an additional answer. Remember, you already have to have 2 of the Trunks counterplay if you have your Unison,
Mm-hmm.
plus the Goten or hit, and you have to have that combination of cards 2 turns in a row.
Right.
So when you play the Rival Seeker on 3, now I need an additional answer. And then when you play it on 4, I now need an additional answer. So
Right.
I
Yeah.
basically need to have all of it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I got
Yeah.
to have all of it
Gotta
because
have every
now
single one.
he wasted 2 he made me go through 2 counters, and now he can also use his effect up to 2 times if he wants
Mm-hmm.
to,
Yeah.
depending on what his hand is or if he needs to get extra cards back. I don't know, but he's at least doing it once. So I know now he's going to do his effect once, and I've burned through 2 counterplays. So I only play 2 Goten, 2 hit, and 4 Godsling. That's 8 cards.
Yeah.
So by the time it's actually meaningful, I'm already down to only 5 options in the deck.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
if he uses that skill a second time, I'm now down to 4 options in the deck to counter that. Which, I mean, you play Baby, you can find them, you can see them, but it's
Right.
still
Yeah.
very difficult.
And I guess you just didn't have any of the Gohan Piccolo in hand.
Yeah, so that's the other thing is you do have the Gohan Piccolo if they do play the Rival Seeker early. So the way
Yeah.
the game went, um, I'm really bad at remembering games. You can ask Sublet. I believe I did use one Gohan Piccolo on one of the early Rival Seekers, and I actually think I go tend another one,
Mm-hmm.
but it did not matter. On turn 5, he played Apex, and then I God ceilinged it. Passed to my turn. I still could not do anything. He played Apex again. I was able to negate it, and then honestly, I just died.
Yeah.
Like I ran out of answers. I don't even remember if he cat blew me or victory struck me, but I did not have any more answers in my hand for what he
Right.
was doing.
Okay. So double invoker.
The
That
one deck I
is
said I will not see tomorrow.
yeah. You was like, oh, I don't care about invoker, and then you played 2 straight up. In round 3, you told me you played red blue launch. So
Yes.
another cat blow deck. How did that one go?
The amount of salt I had at this point was unreal.
Right. Right.
Unreal. I weirdly did have experience playing against Launch Red Blue.
Mm-hmm.
John, Nameless in our Discord, really likes the deck,
Mm-hmm.
and has played me quite a few times with it. So I understood the deck a little bit better in that matchup. Luckily, it is a little bit easier than Invoker, only because I don't care about their hand size, which is one of the biggest advantages, I think, of
Yeah.
playing that over Invoker. Your hand is huge, and you have all playable cards, even without a Vegeta,
Mm-hmm.
which is pretty neat. So, but I don't care because I have Turning the Tide. So hand size doesn't
Right.
really matter to me. But basically, you just counterplay the rival seekers. It's really the same game plan. You just want to have
Yeah.
multiple because in the red blue matchup, similarly to how Invoker can rip, they have the Sin Shenron Unison and they have the Broly Crown of Retribution.
Mm-hmm.
So you do have to play around both of those cards. My opponent that round did not see any of them. I don't know if he played them or not, but I guess if he did, I got very lucky because he was never able to rip or see my hand. Um, and I drew into my Gotens, my Piccolos, so it was a pretty easy matchup, just
Okay.
time consuming. It's
Right.
a very grindy, long match,
Mm-hmm.
especially because launch is much. they can keep a much higher life count than most decks in this game and be comfortable with a big hand.
Yes, very
Most
much so.
decks, if like I'm playing around Cat Blow, my hand size is going to be smaller.
Hmm.
Lance just doesn't care. They're sitting there with like 6 life in their hands like a book.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it does make the play and the turning the tide a little tougher. I believe what I did was I played Obuni, and then I actually pressured him and baited him into playing around turning the tide and got some cards out of his hand. And then I passed. I knew I had to counter for whatever he was going to do. And then he passed back to me, and I played Banish Your Foo.
Okay. Nice.
So I basically just littered his hand because the 3 extra attacks were much more important to me than the 1 crit with no hand, just because I just
Right.
didn't
Yeah.
have enough, and him being at such a high life total, it just made more sense. His hand was so small, there's no way he could play out of it.
Yeah.
I think he did violent raise me that turn, but it put him to like nothing in hand because he had to
Yeah.
rip for the foo. So I was like, whatever. And I had
Right.
Obuni, so
Yeah. It's kind of the same. Yeah, when they violent raise food, it's kind of the same outcome. They discard so many cards from hand. It's the same as it
yeah, I'm
attacking
like,
3
it's
times. Like,
whatever.
yeah. Okay, so after that, you played Vegex. Um,
Yes,
that was that
my favorite deck.
exactly, yeah. And as you said before, like that deck just can't win, right? I mean, with the addition of all the new black cards, the True Fighting Spirit cards, do you think that changes the way that the matchup is played now?
Yeah, it's tougher the way Vegex is in current form than it was before.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Pre-ban, you had to resolve 2 Splintering Minds,
Mm-hmm.
which is insanely difficult against Baby. And it also still did not guarantee you the win, and you had to hit the nuts.
Mm-hmm.
I actually played Mike in a webcam tournament one time. We got paired, and I was playing Vegex, and I did almost beat him because I drew the Royal Flush, but I
Mm-hmm.
still couldn't get there because I couldn't resolve a second Splintering Mind. So even when you draw perfectly,
Yeah.
it's the second one. The difference now is that they have so much hate against your hand.
Mm-hmm.
The silver bullets that people talk about, what I don't remember what set they're from. Draft box 5,
Draft box
maybe
6. The
6.
ones
Okay,
that can't, it crits a life and an energy when you untap with a negate.
yeah, they don't matter.
They never mattered against
Um,
Baby. People talked about those
no,
all the time. They never mattered. I've heard
they
you
don't
guys
matter.
talk about that a lot.
A lot of people tell me and both of us are wrong for that. They really don't matter. I don't think they understand how Baby mechanically works. There's
Nah.
many times where I don't untap and I still have energy up,
Yeah.
and there's many times where I can shut down a whole turn just with one Gohan or Vegeta,
Right. Yeah.
where I don't need the untap. And Vegeta's also a blocker.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously, if those cards are just rampant in the format, they can get slightly annoying, I guess, early if your deck is hyper aggressive. But then you just play Zeno super combo. You just play a higher ratio, or you just main all 4.
Yep.
Um, because at one point those cards were very popular, and digging and hand size didn't matter as much in Baby originally.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why Mike was on 4, because it literally makes the already bad answer for Baby even worse.
Right.
Makes it irrelevant. It's not even an answer at that point when he plays in a super combo. So yeah, what's much more, I guess, beneficial for the Vegex matchup now is, like you said, the True Fighting Spirit, the Vegeta 1-drop. They're both problematic because it takes one of my biggest advantages of playing Baby is
Yeah.
my hand is huge. I mean, there were times where I had triple my opponent.
Yeah.
I've never had that in Dragon Ball before, unless I was playing a hand deck, which, sure,
Right.
if I rip you down to 2 cards in hand and I have 6, I guess you can call that triple.
Yeah.
But when I have 18 and you have 6,
That's a
that's a
lot. Yeah.
whole other realm.
I will say you definitely must have not played set 2 Vegeta, because that was also like that was like a 10-2 scenario a lot of the times.
That's true, actually. I did
Yeah.
play that deck. I did forget about that.
Yeah. It's too long ago.
Yeah, that is a while ago.
Yeah.
It's funny to think that back then we still had hands that big.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say it can make it tough. That's where Gohan Piccolo comes in, and that's actually why I opted to main 3 instead of 2.
Yeah.
I actually, in best of 3, main 3 inside 1,
Mm-hmm.
because that literally just wins you the matchup. when they see multiple of the true fighting spirits,
Mm-hmm.
they resolve Demigra on curve, and you don't have an answer, you will probably lose.
Right. Yeah. That is always how I just talk about beating Baby. It's like, oh, I'll just Demigra on curve, and then what are they? You know what I mean? Like that's just like in my mind, it's always like my only chance of beating Baby is dropping it on 2, and then that's going to be my win con for the entire game. So you throw a true fighting spirit behind that, I bet it'd get really annoying.
Yeah, and that's why actually that's one of the biggest reasons for Hit being in the deck. I don't think Hit is very good. I don't
Mm-hmm.
think it's a very good card. I just don't think it. It's on paper it seems amazing. It's
Right.
literally a 2-drop that bounces 2 cards 5 or less. Like
Mm-hmm.
it seems amazing, and it's just not. They play 1-drops. They just pay another energy to play them. There's I don't know. It just doesn't matter as much as you would think, but because of Demigra and Rival Seeker, you have to play it. So it's funny you bring up Demigra like that because that is literally the reason why I played 2 hits. If Demigra was not a card, I would probably I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
probably you can ask Mike. He has a better answer for this. I'd
Mm-hmm.
probably just try playing 4 Goten and see what happens.
Yeah.
Just so I can draw a card. But
Exactly. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. So after Vegex, you played another red blue launch. So
also,
another.
I did beat Vegex. I
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
think we
Okay.
even got to
No,
that
it went
part.
out. Yeah. So you beat Vegex. You know, like you said, pretty easy matchup.
Very easy. Yeah.
Round 5, another catastrophic blow deck, another red blue launch. Kind of just went down the same way.
Yeah, he was much better. He did play the the Brolys, the Crown of Retributions.
Yeah.
So it was more difficult for that one.
Yeah.
But it was basically the same game.
Mm-hmm.
And that one, though, I was able to aggress him more, and his hand was a little bigger. So I just pivoted instead of going for Fu. I went with the better play, which is the turning the tide.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
think.
I got. Yeah.
Like I said, I'm really bad at remembering these matchups. So if I
Yeah.
play and you're like, that guy's lying, he's trying to make me look bad or
Yeah.
something, I don't know. I promise I'm not. I have a terrible memory in tournament play.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. No, I'm the same way. It's hard. It's hard for me to describe what happened in a match that I literally just finished playing. Sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. Also, one thing I do want to note, if you see your opponent put down launch, you have to hard mulligan for all of your counter plays, not your counter attacks. It does nothing else matters except for seeing Goten hit your unison and your God Sealing in that order
Mm-hmm.
because you just have to counter Rival Seeker.
Okay. Okay. That makes sense. And I guess you want it if you were to play against Red Green, you want Goten for King Piccolo too, right? Piccolo
Uh,
Jr., not King Piccolo.
Piccolo Jr. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's definitely very helpful against Piccolo Jr.
Okay. We call him Prince Jonathan at my locals. I don't know why. Somebody just kept calling him. It was a weird nickname that stuck. So we always
I
just call
like
him
that.
Prince. Yeah, because
That's funny.
Piccolo Jr. is PJ. I don't know how it happened, but anyway. So
One thing I
um,
will say about that is it can be tricky depending on the turn if you don't have multiple.
yeah.
Like if they can replay the Piccolo or still aggress you,
Mm-hmm.
it just depends on the situation and their board state. You don't want to put yourself in a position where you're like gonna tap out or something because
Right.
realistically, I don't care if they burn me. What I like, I just don't care
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, that
most
makes
of the
sense.
time.
So Goten does put on bottom of the deck though, right? Not back to hand.
Yes,
Okay. Okay. Cool. Cool.
very powerful.
Yeah. Very good card. And then round 6 we have King Piccolo. How'd that go?
So King Piccolo is a miserable matchup. Mike says it's fun because he's a psychopath.
Yeah, it is fun. I like it. I like playing
You're
against
also a
Mike. Yeah,
psychopath.
it is fun. It's a lot of little things, and those little things separate. You know, it just it's like every
It,
turn the pendulum dramatically shifts in terms
it
of
does.
whose
It does.
favor is like I'm winning the
It
game now. You're
constantly.
winning the game. It's like every turn it changes like crazily.
It does. It definitely does change a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably more fun for the Piccolo player. Um,
If yeah,
you get to make more decisions and feel smart.
that's
I,
yeah, big time.
I don't. I just sit there and know I'm just gonna play a really long game of Dragon Ball.
Oh yeah, yep.
But it was fine. It's a very awkward matchup.
Hmm.
In best of three, you will never finish a best of three. You probably won't even finish game two.
No.
Maybe you don't even finish game one. You should probably finish game one though.
Yeah.
Um, I've had King Piccolo matches where it's like about to deck out for both players.
Oh yeah.
It's long and grindy. Basically, I think we kind of talked about it earlier. What I do in the matchup, everyone I guess can position themselves differently, but
Hmm.
I just bottom deck the piano to take away some of their advantage, and then I just constantly attack the unison. I just spend
Yep.
all game attacking their unison,
Sounds about
and
right.
then you kind of have to make a judgment call at some point
Hmm.
because you're in tournament play, and if you think you can start pushing for game, obviously a win's better than a draw.
Yeah.
So at some point, you're like, okay, I can now shift off this unison, or I've put the unison to a low enough markers, I can now threaten their life total.
Hmm.
But it's very tricky because you don't really ever want King Piccolo in their combo step.
No,
Um,
never. It's really hard to attack the leader because I plus a lot. If like I could maybe I'll just make a separate video talking about the matchup because I have a lot to say about it. But everything you said was pretty true. Like without a Bune, I think it's really hard to push damage against King Piccolo.
yes, you
Yeah,
need, yeah. That he is very very helpful in the match.
yeah.
Kami can be very helpful.
Hmm.
But yeah, a Booney with a turning the tide or a well timed foo can really swing the match in your favor. But
Yeah.
it's tough, man. It's grindy and long.
Hmm.
And that game, I don't even want to know what turn we were on. We took almost the entire round to play.
Yeah.
I think it was about to be overtime. I don't know. I didn't
Hmm.
realize it didn't tell us when we're in overtime. You have
Yeah.
to look in the chat. So we were.
Yeah.
I have no idea. But I ended up winning with Fu, I believe.
Okay.
I built a board. I believe I played two Obunis. And I made sure I did it when I was safe from the unison, so he couldn't blow my shit up, so I could last a turn.
Yeah.
And I just had a board of like a million attackers, and then I dropped Fu, negged my unison, and that like it's
Okay.
just too much damage to get through that turn. So I was able to take the game.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And I do think King Piccolo players they have to know all of their rulings for this matchup in particular. And then like I didn't even the Yamcha Unison ruling. Basically, if your opponent plays Sun Gohan, Baby's minion, you can Yamcha the Gohan and then resolve your Unison killing Gohan. That is like a
Yep.
huge thing. I save my Yamchas as much as possible, specifically for Gohan, because he's not only is he a huge 25k body, but then you draw a card off of him. So that's like a really, and then you can do it with Drum too. Like people, there's certain plays like you again. I'll talk about it probably in another video, but like there's little tricky Drum plays you can make where you end up killing the 20ks that you normally wouldn't kill. So the unison is a huge factor in that matchup, very much so.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have to make the unison a priority.
Absolutely. No, I 100% agree. So then, final round, you played against a red green launch instead of a red blue launch. So, how does it change based on the, I guess, different color variations? How does launch change in terms of this matchup?
Um, I think the biggest thing is you want to have a bit more of a defensive hand, and I like seeing bullas. I
Mm-hmm.
also like seeing my and just early like easy negates.
Mm-hmm.
When they draw the nuts, they can push through so much damage early
Yeah.
between turns one and three, especially if they're attacking first.
Yep.
Um, so it can be tricky. You have to be careful of the burn, and you have to be careful of the acrobatics play,
Mm-hmm.
because that can be really brutal when they burn you with the king with the Piccolo Junior, and they burn you with
Right.
the
Yeah.
Gogeta whatever.
Yeah.
You know
Acrobatic
what I'm talking
warrior.
about?
Yeah.
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 Okay. Um, So yeah, I would say in this one, really good cards are the Sun Gohan and Piccolo. It's
Mm-hmm.
funny, I like that much more than the Goten
Mm-hmm.
because the King Piccolo play early just puts cards in my hand.
Oh yeah, big time. Yeah.
So it really doesn't affect me much. And as long as I know I have a Bola and a D Magic or just something to negate again, usually you're fine. A lot of their things also similar to King Piccolo with launch happens in their combo step.
Mm-hmm.
So when you can sit and just negate everything, and as long as you're aware of the Piccolo Jr. and don't allow him to put you in a position where you're going to lose,
Mm-hmm.
it does become easier. I will say this man was he was trying to kill me hard.
Right. Yeah.
He came at my throat, man. He was going in, and I also assumed I was going to play Catflow again
Mm-hmm.
because apparently that's all I'm allowed to play in this tournament.
Exactly. Yeah.
Um, so I did mulligan away some cards I would have rather saw,
Yeah.
which made it a little bit difficult. And he actually at one point had me tapped out early. My hand was god awful, and it was so funny. The card that saved me was Zeno,
Nice. Nice.
because I had a Bola in my hand, and I was able to combo out of one attack, get my energy back, negate with Bola,
Mm-hmm.
and from that point forward, I was able to just completely stabilize. Um, the match isn't too bad. It is awkward not knowing if they're playing the Raditz SCR, so you have to know what you're playing around.
I have seen
Um,
that. Yeah. The scrambling assault. I've seen that.
yeah,
That surprised me. I didn't know why they were playing that.
yeah, it's just like all like you just have to know, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like you don't want to get caught sleeping,
Yeah.
and that card hit the board because as much as people like to not respect that card, its effect is insane if
Yeah.
it sticks.
No, if you're at 4 life and they attack with a double strike and you don't negate it, you lose the game immediately because what Raditz deals 2 damage and then you can't combo or some shit like that. So like you just lose the
It's
game.
insane.
Yeah, one double
Yeah,
strike goes through and the game is immediately over.
it's
So
over.
I guess I understand why Launch plays it. That makes sense.
Now this guy did not, but
Yeah,
the tricky part is you have to account for that
yeah,
until they show their hand.
yeah.
So funny enough, this was I think Mike's only loss was this guy,
Okay.
and he hit him with the pump fake.
Mm,
Um, he had 5 energy and was
yeah,
like putting his hand over him like this, like he was
yeah.
gonna tap them, and it completely changed Mike's line of play, and Mike thought he had to kill him a turn too early
That is
because
so
he didn't
funny.
have an answer.
That's so
So
smart. Yeah.
yeah, and come to find out, the guy plays Kai SCR.
No, that's so
Um,
funny.
yeah,
Mm,
so really sucks. But that's also an advantage of playing best of one when
yeah,
you can play a deck that can viably play multiple strategies.
yeah,
Um, Launch is really a great best of one deck because you can be playing
yeah,
3 different variants, and then like we just talked about, they can all play different cards. The
yeah,
red green variant can also have different win cons. I mean, it's a lot to think about, and before you see any cards, you have to mulligan. So you might mulligan away the cards that you want to see.
mm,
Um, but yeah, that matchup was interesting. I bottom decked, I think, 3 of his Piccolos.
mm,
So that was fun, I guess.
yeah,
He got me to 2 life, I think. And then, man, this was one of my. So multiple times this tournament, I played Baby Hatch after turn 8. I think a mistake a lot of baby players make is they try
you
and
shop it
shotgun it.
early. Yeah,
Yeah, I see a lot of people, and like there's times where you have to. I've done it
yeah.
before,
Oh,
but it's
absolutely.
not common, where you're forced to tap 3 for your unison because you have a. Just because you have a baby hatch and a unison does not mean that's automatically your turn 3 play.
Yeah,
If you know you need to win earlier and your unison is a big part of that plan, then maybe.
yeah.
But you could also tap out on turn 4, and it's the same exact scenario.
Right.
You lose 1 card from a unison draw, and that's it. Um, anyways, so I was very proud of this play, and I'm very angry at the outcome. So he is trying to kill me,
Hmm.
and I know this. I have gone through at this point. I've gone through my whole deck twice. I've literally like cycled through it 2 times, and so I now kind of remember what my deck is, and I don't even remember how many times I resolved Gohan. One of the things that people don't realize about Gohan is the Overlord isn't just powerful for the draw; it's the
Yeah,
fact that you can play with an infinite number of them.
exactly, bro. Yep.
They're always going to come back. There's no
Mm-hmm.
limited resource unless you can that Gohan. So what you
Yep.
said about King Piccolo is so true.
Yeah.
If you can Yamcha and kill it, that is so huge in that matchup.
Mm-hmm.
But he goes to kill me. I can see he's set up for it. He has a very good board at this point. He's got like the Gogeta. He's got the King Piccolo. He's playing Nappa super combos, so he's like able
Mm-hmm.
to attack with them if he wants.
Yeah.
He's got all kinds of shit on the board. And I have Baby Hatch in hand, and I need to play Baby Hatch because his life total I think was 5. I
Mm-hmm.
want to say. And I need that 40k swing. Like I need it. I have to
Mm-hmm.
have it. So I'm like, okay, so he swings, and I'm counting his hand, and he's got like 8 cards in hand. And I was like, I wonder what happens if I Gohan and then let an attack go through because I know he's going to push at least once.
Yeah.
Um, so I know I said I was at 2, but I think at this point I was actually at 3 life.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so he attacks, I negate with Gohan. He attacks again,
Yep.
and I let it go through. So I go down to 2 life.
Mm.
So now he's got like blood in his eye, like he's like ready, like he's
Yeah.
trying to go for the kill, right? So, but that also put him down to 7 in hand.
Mm-hmm.
So he attacks again, and I negate, not with Baby Hatch, because I know he's gonna do at least one more. So he
Yeah.
bottom decks another, and then he puts himself down to 5 in hand. And it's at that point I know I have Fu the Dark Banisher, and it's now impossible for him to win. So at that point I Baby Hatch him, and oh man,
Mm.
it felt so good.
Nice. Yeah.
Um,
But
yeah,
see,
that
that's
was a
like
really
that's what
fun
you have
play.
to do, right? You have to walk that tightrope a little bit to ensure that you're getting the most value out of your own cards as a baby
Right,
player. Yeah.
right. So that's like just a good example of why it's not good to shotgun the Baby Hatch. Give me 1 second.
Okay.
I got to. My computer's gonna die on me here. I should have plugged it in from the start. All right, we're good.
Gotcha.
So, anyways, he passes turn obviously because I Baby Hatched. And this is where I was angry. I know I have game in my hand. I literally have I have everything, bro.
Yeah.
Like I can do whatever I want. I have Turning the Tide. I have Fu. I've already got an established a Booney on board. I think I had
Mm.
9 total attacks.
Yeah.
Like I can literally do whatever I want at this point, and I just win.
Yeah.
Uh, in my head, I'm just like, okay, let me not be a dumbass and like run into some random red green card I don't think about because when's the last time we really thought about red green before launch?
Yeah.
And people are being cute and best of one playing these random
Mm-hmm.
tech cards. So I'm like
Yep.
just kind of like taking my time. I'm like, okay, I saw his SCR. I don't have to worry about Raditz anymore because at one
Mm.
point in the game he cleared my unison with Kai.
Yeah.
So I get through it all. I'm like, okay, cool. I took like literally a minute. And then I was like, okay, I'm ready. And as soon as I start going into my play, a judge says, okay, that's time in overtime. Neither of us knew we were in overtime.
Oh shit. Okay.
Had I known that I was
Damn.
in overtime, I would have just shotgunned a Fu and
Uh-huh.
attacked as fast as possible
Yeah.
and been telling him,
Mm.
please combo faster.
Yeah. Yeah, because that
um,
X1 is a huge difference of X11.
yeah, yeah.
Damn. Yep.
So I should have been X1. I put my hand out on the table.
Mm-hmm.
Um, he said, yeah, you probably had it. But
Mm-hmm.
obviously, it's time. He's not going to
Yeah.
give me the win. He's
Nah.
he's also playing for prizing. It's also both of our faults for not progressing the game faster than that because it's really ridiculous. We want the time.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm.
it is what it is.
Yeah.
It was a very, very long, grindy matchup. So
Mm. Damn. Well, that was a tournament, man. But so you ended up X11. You got either you said 10th, right? And funnily enough, Mike got ninth. So the two Hermit boys got ninth and 10th.
hey.
The Hermit way, man. Is there anything you want to say about the deck? How do you think it changes in Battle Evolution, or even if the deck itself doesn't change? I mean, none of the decks in Battle Evolution really matter, right?
You just want answers to victory strike
Yeah.
because people are going to do the victory strike thing, and
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna suck to get caught with your pants down and just. But it's gonna happen. It already happened in the last region.
Mm-hmm.
One of the last ones. I think Ottawa or something.
Mm.
Some guy went undefeated with it, so
Oh
it's gonna
yeah,
happen. And we're in a
Australia, I
best of one
think. Yeah.
format, so
Mm-hmm.
um, that will probably. I haven't updated the build.
Yeah.
Um, I will probably just ask Mike how he updated the build and copy him.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I ask
Um,
Mike for baby list all the time because I don't want to. It's like, look, man, we got the guy. He knows what he's doing. Just listen to him, and he'll tell you what's right.
yeah, man. Like I can. I'm sure there are many great baby players out there. I am 100. Mike is best. He has put an insane amount of time into this deck.
Yeah.
And it does show when you talk about deck choices, like not playing Mechiorp,
Yeah.
not playing the other. Because I thought Mechiorp was good. I was like, why
Yeah.
the
Me
hell don't
too.
you play
Right.
this card, bro?
Yeah.
Like you get an extra energy. And when he explains it, it makes a lot of sense. Um, so yeah, I think that I think this is a really solid build. It's annoying to have to play these tech cards for best of one,
Mm-hmm.
and they will probably be the cards that change as we evaluate
Yeah. As the
Victory
meta.
Strike. I don't think there's much else to worry about,
No. You're not
and
losing to
I don't think it
Bardock's
changes
crew.
much.
um, One last question. I meant to ask this. Okay, against red green launch, on let's say you go first on turn two, are you shotgunning Sun Goten? No, Gohan. Are you shotgunning Gohan on two, or is that like you try to negate other ways?
No, I don't care about two.
Okay.
Like they can just attack me.
Right. Okay. I got you.
Personally, I'm like, just to let me awaken, bro. Like awaken on three. Like as long as I awaken. And I mean, they're probably already pushing me to two anyways. Now, if they have gone crazy aggressive
Mm-hmm.
and, well, because you said I go first, right?
Yeah.
So I go first. So then they go. Um, I'm trying to, I don't know the deck very well, but
Mm-hmm.
on their turn one, they would push me down to 7 life, maybe six. Can they push
Mm-hmm.
me to six?
Not if they charge a dual. I mean, yeah, it's unlikely. Seven is gonna
Yeah.
happen though.
So
Yeah.
I'm seven on turn two. Now, so here's what was interesting though, and here's why as I'm talking, I'm remembering.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, when you attack, so let's say I'm first,
Mm-hmm.
so I charge pass. He's first. He swings. I go to 7 life pass. I'm now on 2 energy. I swing with my leader. What they can do is a rival combo. They can combo Nappa
Yeah.
and a rival Gogeta,
Right.
and that's insane
Yeah. That was
because
gonna be
then
my
on
next
their turn
question.
two,
Yeah.
yeah, they can then go Piccolo with the Gogeta, and then they got the acrobatics,
Yeah.
and you're like, holy shit. Um, so yeah, that's a very powerful play. So then if you're at 7 and then you pass, they have their leader swing, so that's 1 damage, so you're down to
Mm-hmm.
6. They have the Gogeta swing, so that's 2 damage, so 4.
Mm-hmm.
They have the Piccolo swing, which is a burn and a damage, so 2. So and they have the acrobatics damage, so they can potentially kill you that turn. So you
Right.
are
Yeah.
right that there might be times where you want to go on. Um, I think the big thing is you either bottom deck the Piccolo Junior
Mm-hmm.
or you just negate. And in my case, that was why I had to tap out because I had to combo out of an attack, and then I drew into my Bulla, and then I super comboed to negate with my Bulla, so I can
Mm-hmm.
negate his Gogeta swing, and I stabilized it for life.
Okay. Yeah. So then again, so my next
It's
question was
those
gonna
it's
be,
those small negates.
yeah, they come in handy. So my next question was gonna be, you just don't attack, right? On turn two, you're just like you take the
Yeah, you
safe
can just not
route.
attack. I should have never attacked. The card
Yeah.
didn't matter.
Yeah. I was gonna say you just sacrifice one card in the long term of like, well, I'm not gonna die now.
Yeah, had I done that, that game probably would have gone not to time. I put
Okay.
myself in a very bad position doing that,
Mm-hmm.
and because I mulligan for Rival Seeker,
Yeah.
I saw what I needed for that matchup, but not for this one. So my
Okay.
my hand got considerably worse, and it was rough, like turns 1 through 4. I will say one thing that saved me. It was a well timed Ready to Rumble.
Mm.
Um, People don't realize Ready to Rumble is almost, if you play it well, can be
Yeah.
like having additional copies of Baby Hatch.
Oh yeah. Especially with
Like blowing up
heroic
an enemy is
prospect,
very
right?
big.
Yeah.
Say that again.
With heroic prospect, yeah, if you have both in combination, they'll sacrifice their energy, and then all of a sudden they're at 2 to 3 energy, and you
Yes.
prospect, and their turn is over because it's like now I have to pop an energy and bottom deck 2 cards for like a 3 drop attacking. It's crazy, yeah.
I can't tell you how many times I'm ready to run pass.
Mm-hmm.
At that point, what is the difference if that's baby hatch or not? And
Yep.
that's another reason why you have to be smart about when you shotgun baby hatch.
Yeah.
Because if you know you can tap 3 for Vegeta and they'll pass turn, and you decide to unison baby hatch, that's wrong.
Exactly.
Because
Yep.
now you just lost a baby hatch.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Another thing to note, I guess, a little trick with the deck is you that sounds really stupid. It's
You.
late. I was gonna say you just play against your opponent, like no shit.
Well, yeah.
But like you kind of just do the opposite of what they're trying to do. So if
Yeah.
they like, for example, if you have Gohan and Vegeta, and you're like, I don't know which. Well, if they don't charge, you're just like, oh, okay, cool. The Vegeta already works, so I'm gonna Gohan.
Oh, okay. Did you?
Or if
Okay.
it depends on their hand size, or if they don't charge and their hand's big, then you Vegeta, and they're like, oh damn, no, I really can't attack.
Okay.
Um, but it's not like a set like you do one thing or the other. But
Yeah.
I would say I think I said that real wrong the first time though. Pretty rare.
No, but
Usually, if they
what you
don't
said makes
charge, you
sense. Yeah.
Vegeta.
Yeah. Okay.
I have
Damn.
had times though where they didn't charge though, and I still Gohan because I
Yeah.
saw that they're playing around Vegeta, and I
Yeah.
was like, "LOL, Gohan, waste your hand still."
Okay. Okay. Nice. I'm asking all these questions because I'm probably gonna play Baby this Saturday, so that's why I'm asking all these questions. All right, bro. So it is getting pretty late.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
Listen, bro. Thank you for being on. Like I said, everybody check out Hermit Style. I'll have links in the description. Best podcast, best Dragon Ball podcast. Period.
Thank you,
Absolutely no competition. Probably the best Discord too. Not gonna lie. I'm in
thank you.
a several Dragon Ball Discords. I think Hermit Style is, without a doubt, it's like the most active one. People we go through. It's this weird thing where I'm in other Dragon Ball Discords and I feel like there's probably not even like 20 messages in a day. We go through like hundreds of messages in a day with like 40 to 50 extremely active members. Whereas like you have posters and you have lurkers, right? So there's like 250 some odd people in the group, but there's like at least 50 active members and at least 30 incredibly active members. So definitely one of the best Discord. Jimmy, thanks for being on, bro. Thank you for sharing your insight. Everybody, thank you for watching. Y'all have a good one.